Breaking. King Charles just ended a Prime Minister's career with 26 words. No speech, no interview, no public appearance, just one carefully written statement that's now ripping the British government apart from the inside. And if you think that the monarchy has no power in 2025, what happened in the last 72 hours will prove you completely wrong. It started with a moment nobody saw coming. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, frustrated and angry, launched a public attack on King Charles. The details of what he said are still being debated. But one thing is clear, he crossed a line that British leaders have respected. For generations he insulted the crown, and for the first time in modern history, the King decided he wasn't going to stay silent. If this story sounds wild, hit subscribe, because what happens next gets even crazier. Within 24 hours, something extraordinary happened behind the closed doors of Buckingham Palace. Late Monday night, King Charles called an emergency meeting, not with the media, not with Parliament, with his most trusted advisors, the Lord Chamberlain, senior members of the Privy Council, constitutional lawyers. The meeting went deep into the night, lit only by the dim glow of the palace's private study. And according to one royal aide who spoke anonymously, the King said something nobody expected. The Prime Minister has crossed a line no leader should ever cross. The monarchy must now defend its dignity and its survival. Those words spread through political circles like wildfire. By Tuesday morning, Westminster was in full panic mode, because what the King did next hasn't been done since the 1930s during the abdication crisis. He ordered a full constitutional review. A document reportedly titled Operation Sovereign Integrity. It outlines every legal option the Crown has if a sitting Prime Minister threatens the institution itself. Think about that for a second. The last time the monarchy took action like this, a king gave up the throne. This time a king is preparing to defend it. When Downing Street found out about Operation Sovereign Integrity, the mood inside Starmer's office shifted from disbelief to pure fear. One insider described it simply: he realised he'd started a fight he couldn't win. But the King wasn't finished. Early Wednesday morning, sealed letters were hand-delivered to three people: the leader of the opposition, the Speaker of the House of Commons, the senior Supreme Court judge. The contents still not public, but sources close to the palace say the letters carried one clear message: protect Britain's constitutional balance. This wasn't a suggestion, it was a royal warning, delivered in writing. Historic, direct, unprecedented. Within hours the letters leaked, social media exploded, hashtags like King Strikes Back and Defend the Crown hit trending worldwide. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of them flooded with videos of people expressing shock and support. Suddenly, the story wasn't about Starmer's anger anymore. It was about the King reclaiming his authority. And the British public was watching every second of it. Then came the moment that changed everything. Wednesday afternoon, the BBC interrupted regular programming for a special bulletin. Buckingham Palace was releasing its first official response. Newsrooms went silent. Millions of people stopped what they were doing. The King didn't appear on camera, but the statement was short, sharp, and devastating. His Majesty remains committed to the unity and stability of the nation. He holds deep respect for Britain's democratic institutions and expects the same respect to be shown toward the Crown. 26 words. That's all it took. The palace didn't name Starmer. It didn't have to. The message was crystal clear: disrespect the monarchy and there will be consequences. Within minutes, every news network in Britain was calling it the most powerful royal intervention in modern history. Political analysts were stunned. Constitutional experts were scrambling to explain what it meant, and the public, they were all in, and that's when the floodgates opened. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace, thousands of people holding signs that read "Stand with the Crown" and "Defend our King." By Thursday morning, the crowd had grown so large that police had to set up barriers. Church bells rang in towns across England. Not because anyone organised it, just spontaneous support for the monarchy. In Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, even in northern Labour strongholds where Republican feelings sometimes surface, people were disgusted by Starmer's behaviour. A taxi driver from Manchester said it best in a street interview that went viral: "You can argue about policies all day long, but you don't insult the King." That's not politics, that's betrayal. That clip has been viewed over 5 million times because it captured what millions of Brits were feeling. This wasn't about left or right anymore. It was about respect for an institution that's held the country together for centuries. Inside Downing Street, Starmer watched his world collapse in real time. Every attempt to control the story failed. Press officers issued clarifications, none of them worked. Starmer tried to give an interview explaining his position, but it only made things worse. The more he tried to justify himself, the weaker he looked. And while he scrambled, the opposition pounced. Nigel Farage appeared on live television Thursday night, calm and controlled, praising the King's dignity. When our institutions are under attack, Whitley said, silence is not weakness, it is strength, and the King has shown strength today. The audience in the studio erupted in applause. Overnight, Farage's approval ratings jumped by 12 points. Reform UK's donation page crashed because so many people tried to contribute at once. Even Conservative backbenchers started hinting that maybe it was time for a complete change in political direction. But here's where it gets truly dramatic. Behind the scenes, Starmer's own cabinet started turning on him. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner reportedly stormed out of an emergency meeting Thursday afternoon after a heated argument. She wanted Starmer to apologise publicly. He refused, insisting that backing down would make him look weak. According to witnesses, she looked him in the eye and said, "You've made yourself the enemy of the people. You're dragging all of us down with you." His face went pale because in that moment he understood. This wasn't just a political crisis, it was a battle for legitimacy itself. And in Britain, no leader survives a war against the crown, not in 1936, not now. By Friday, the polls showed the damage was catastrophic. A YouGov survey revealed that 80% of Brits said the King did the right thing by responding. 68% said Starmer was unfit to continue as Prime Minister. Another poll showed that trust in the Labour government had dropped to its lowest point since they took office. Overnight, Starmer went from national leader to national liability. Junior ministers started resigning, citing a loss of confidence in leadership. By Friday afternoon, 3 had already quit. Senior officials at the Cabinet Office quietly began preparing contingency plans for a caretaker government, a phrase Britain hasn't used in decades. Civil servants, who are supposed to remain neutral, were privately expressing concern that the government was becoming unstable. Meanwhile, King Charles said nothing. No follow-up statements, no appearances, no interviews. His silence became his greatest weapon. Every photo of him looking calm and composed made Starmer look more desperate by comparison. On Friday, Charles attended a charity event in Scotland. He smiled, shook hands, spoke warmly with attendees. Not a single word about the crisis. Commentators started calling it the art of invisible dominance. The King was winning without lifting a finger. The international reaction was just as brutal. CNN ran a segment calling it the most dramatic royal political showdown since the days of King George III.